Hello viewers, welcome to my study channel Study with Master Notes. Today I will discuss Certificate in Teaching of English City 1 Term and Examination December 2013 questions of first question, that is Shortnotes, City 1 the language learner. So here you can see the maximum marks is 100 and the first question, write Shortnotes any four of the following. Okay, write Shortnotes any four of the following, that is interlanguage. So I will describe what is interlanguage in City 1 the language learner. Please stay tuned to my channel and like, share and subscribe to my channel for getting more questions, solved questions and answers. Thank you. So let's start. Okay, see, write Shortnotes on interlanguage. So what is interlanguage? As the name suggests, inter and language. So always keep in mind, whatever the word is given, you should divide the words. So try to learn, divide the words, interlanguage. Okay, so here interlanguage, inter plus language. So inter means within language, language. So different types of languages are there, and within languages whatever the changes occurring, that is called interlanguage. So let's start. Answer 1. So interlanguage is otherwise known as idiosyncratic dialect or learner's language. So here see, so you have to write in the answer what is interlanguage. Interlanguage is otherwise known as idiosyncratic dialect, that is learner's language. Okay, so here it is, the interlanguage is otherwise known as idiosyncratic dialect or learner's language. So it is a learner centric approach. As a language teacher or English teacher inside the classroom, we have to practice what is the interest of the learner, what is the learner's motives. That's why interlanguage is otherwise known as idiosyncratic dialect or learner's language. So very important, idiosyncratic dialect. You have to mention these words whenever the Shortnotes arises, that is what is interlanguage. Write Shortnotes on interlanguage. Okay, it is a idiosyncratic dialect or learner's language. Then come to point 2. The type of language produced by second and foreign language learners who are in the process of learning a new language. Okay, so here see, the type of language produced by second and foreign language learners who are in the process of learning a new language. So when a learner goes to learn a new language, the type of language produced by second and foreign language learners, these are called interlanguage. Means the mother tongue is different and the language is different. So this is called interlanguage. Like your international means within national. Okay, that is called international. Various national countries are there, so international means within countries, international, like that interlanguage. Okay, then come to third point. Post-structuralist view of language is influenced significantly that develops cognitive psychology, which is emphasized the role of the mental faculty of the learner. So post-structuralist view of the language is interlanguage. So you have to mention inside the answer, it is a post-structuralist view of language which is influenced significantly, that is cognitive psychology, which is emphasized the role of the mental faculty of the learner. So here you have to mention cognitive psychology. So what is cognitive psychology? Cognitive psychology is the development of mental psyche of the mind of a child. Cognitive psychology, development of the brain, which is emphasized the role of the mental faculty of the learner. It is a mental faculty. Here the cognitive psychology emphasized the learning of the learner, which is called the mental faculty. Learner analyzes different language patterns, different structures, different syntax. These are called mental faculty of the learner. Then come to fourth point, making sense of the second language data. Okay, so see, making sense of the second language data, that learner was making assumptions and hypotheses, which is viewed as a system. So here, making sense of the second language data, that learner was making assumptions and hypothesis, which is viewed as a system. So learner sees a language inside a system. Okay, so language is built by a system. So making sense of the second language data, that learner making sense of the second language data, that learner was making assumptions. So learner starts making assumptions of the language, of the new language, and hypothesis, making different types of hypothesis or evolvement of the language, which is viewed as a system. So this is viewed as a system, whole system. Then come to fifth point, learner follows system of rules. Okay, so here fifth point, learner follows the system of rules and own rights. So here learner follows the system of rules and own rights. So learner has some own rights of its own, that is evolving and developing one. Okay, so learner follows some system of rules and own rights, that is evolving and developing one. So which is evolved and developed by the learner. So learner making autonomous learning system. Learner evolves something about the language and develops that language, not the system of his mother tongue or first language. So learner is not bothering about the mother tongue or first language. Learner bothers about the second language or the foreign language. That is called learner follows system of rules and own rights, that is evolving and developing one, a new language. Then come to sixth number point, learner continuously moves towards the target language. Okay, so here sixth number, learner continuously move towards target language. So what is a target language? The new language is called the target language. The new language or foreign language, that is called target language. Okay, target language means new language. So learner continuously moves towards the target language. So learner continuously moves towards the target language or new language acquisition. Okay, then come to 7. Point number 7. What is the interlanguage? Interlanguage is otherwise known as idiosyncratic dialect or coder. Okay, so here see idiosyncratic dialect. In point 1 I have described already idiosyncratic dialect. Then idiosyncratic dialect is otherwise known as coder. Okay, CORDER, coder, or approximate system or approximative system, that is nameser. Okay, so idiosyncratic dialect, coder, or approximative system, nameser, or interlanguage selinker. Okay, or interlanguage selinker, and known as learner's language. So interlanguage is otherwise known as idiosyncratic dialect, coder, or approximative system, nameser, or interlanguage selinker, and also known as learner's language. So here is a very important, idiosyncratic dialect or coder or approximative system or nameser or interlanguage selinker and known as learner's language. Then come to point number 8. Learner's performance depends upon learning process at any given point of time, described systematically in terms of its own structure and features. Okay, so learner's performance. So how to assess learner performance? So here in interlanguage acquisition, learner performance depends upon learning process at any given point of time, described systematically in terms of its own structure and features. So learner specifies some structure and features of that language, assesses how and where is different from the standard system of target language, and assesses how and where is different from the standard system of target language. So what is the standard system of target language? According to that, learner assesses how and where is different from the standard system of target language. Then come to point number 9. Systematically in terms of its own structure and features means generalizations or rules about the target language and gaps and differences made that still exists. Okay, systematically in terms of its own structure and features means generalizations or rules about the target language and gaps and differences made that still exists. So whenever the learner starts to learn a new language or foreign language or target language, so there must be some gaps and differences are there in between the mother tongue and the target language. So systematically the learner learns in its own terms, that is own structure and features. Okay, means generalizations or rules. The learner follows generalizations or rules about the target language, okay, which eradicates the gaps and differences which still persist or exist. Then notion of interlanguage gives more dynamic and positive view, that is learners learning strategies which guides towards target language. Okay, so notion of interlanguage gives more dynamic and positive view, that is learners learning strategies which guides towards target language. So what is the notion of interlanguage? So notion of interlanguage gives more dynamic and positive view. So here interlanguage gives more dynamic and positive view in learner's mind. Okay, in learner's mind, notion of interlanguage gives more dynamic and positive view. So here more dynamic and positive view, that is learners learning strategies which guides towards target language, that is learner learning strategies which guides towards target language, that guides towards target language acquisition. This is all about the short notes of interlanguage. Okay, this is all about the short notes on interlanguage questions answer. So please like, share and subscribe Study with Master Notes to get more questions, solved questions answered. Thank you viewers.